for a candid conversation with industry leaders? Are you ready to explore the latest trends and technologies impacting modern manufacturers? Are you ready? Or Chris Lou Key in the Creators Lounge.
The Creators Lounge is proud to welcome SYSPRO.
All right, we're here at IMTS, and needless to say, there's a lot of innovation, there's a lot of technology out here on the show floor. But to bring that technology to life, you need partnerships, which is one of the things we're going to be talking about today. I'm joined by Kevin Kidd, as well as Gavin Vereen. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So, before we get into SYSPRO and RFK Racing, let's get to know each of you a little bit. Gavin, it probably makes sense to start with you on, we'll talk SYSPRO. Where did you develop your passion for technology and manufacturing that got you to this point in your career at SYSPRO?
It started as a young age. I actually grew up in a manufacturing world. Dad had an engineering firm, but I was never really good with my hands. And so I ended up taking the technology side, learning how to apply it to manufacturing, and building things and making things has always been a passion. It's just I could do it better with my head than I could with my hands.
So better with doing things with your head, doing things with your hands. I like that. Let's shift over to Kevin. I want to hear your side of the story as well with RFK Racing. Now, how did you get there? That seems like, racing seems like an area we really need to talk about.
Racing's a lot of fun to talk about. I had a passion for racing very young age. Family was into it and just sort of got born into the environment, so to speak. At an early age, realized, hey, this is cool. This is probably what I want to do for a living, and then tried to just figure out what the path was to get there. And I realized pretty quickly, right around 2000 timeline, I was in college or headed to college, and I realized, hey, man, this engineering thing's really taken off in motorsports. Prior to that, it was a lot of fabricators and sort of old school mentality, but it was trying to make that transition right around the perfect time where I was, trying to get into the sport. And so I decided to go get a mechanical engineering degree and fully commit into motorsports. Did that, and for 23 years. Went to a racetrack every weekend for 38 weekends a year, and focused nothing on anything but making cars go fast and turn left. And did that for a long period of time, as I said, and have finally transitioned now into a role where I'm focused mainly on the technology for RFK Racing, and how we can push our company forward on the racetrack by leveraging good technology.
So I have to ask, what are the ways that you get into racing at a young age, right? Because you don't get your driver's license until 16. So what are you doing when it's like a family calling and, you're 8, you're 10, you're 12, you're not legally ready to be behind the wheel? How do you get into that then?
Yeah, there's a couple different paths. I mean, for a lot of kids, the way to motorsports is through go-karts. And you see, a tremendous amount of kids that want to be aspiring drivers. That's the path they'll take, and they start that at ages that are just ridiculous these days. 3, 4 years old, they're in go-karts and actually doing competitive races. I never really had a tremendous amount of interest in driving. I left that to my brother. For me, it was all about the engineering and the technology and really what makes a car go fast. That's what fascinated me. So I doubled down on that, and when I was in high school, I can remember getting my hands on all the books and things that had been written on the subject of how to make cars fast, and just sort of took off from there. And naturally, that leads into the engineering and putting the science behind the passion.
So, Gavin, I know we started with you. I want to get another question over to you, but honestly, Kevin, it probably makes sense that you lead this one off. Let's kind of talk about this partnership between SYSPRO and RFK Racing. How did RFK Racing choose SYSPRO? Let's start there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, very strategic on our part. We were in a position as a company where our ERP supplier, good supplier, but not quite meeting the needs of what we were intending to do for the longer future. So we knew that we had a need there. We knew that we needed to kind of go on the market and see what was out there. And very quickly, we narrowed a list down of folks that we felt like matched our values and kind of what our overall vision was for what we were trying to accomplish. We engaged SYSPRO very immediately. Just hit it off. We have a shared passion, shared commitment, and our vision, for our values are just aligned. And so it was super obvious right from the start that SYSPRO was the company that we needed to be partnering with to go forward.
Well, Gavin, I want to hear about the partnership from your perspective as well. What does it look like when you have those shared values and that shared commitment?
What a lot of people don't understand when it comes to manufacturing, it's actually a passion, right? We don't realize the passion that people have for building things, making things. And then when you get a partner who actually says, we love building things, we like making cars go faster, but we also got some great technology. Now we want to marry it to technology that actually works and scales. Now we're actually speaking about a true relationship and a true partnership, right? So it all starts with that number one value of having a passion for manufacturing, having a passion to know how it's made. It's funny, I think when I go to work, the kids sometimes ask me, so Dad, what is it that you actually do? And it's like, well, I go and see how it's made. And then at the back end of all of this is we actually help folks like RFK and other customers to make product that actually brings forth a value that either serves the community or serves their business, right? So at the end of the day, it all comes down to what value do we get from what is manufactured, and we're on the back end side of that.
What advice would you have for other manufacturers about finding the right technology partner? I heard you mention shared passion. I know that's one of them, but what's another piece of actionable advice you'd share there?
That's actually such a great question, because in today's world, what is the first thing that everybody looks at is technology. Let's go and find a technology and then figure out what to do with it, right? And so what we always do is we tell our customers, start off with the basics. What is the objective of your business? What do you want to achieve? How do you think you should serve your team and your community and the customers that you have? And then build those processes, and then from that, find the tool that supports the processes. If you don't do that, if you start with technology and you work yourself down, you'll end up finding with a stack and a heap of technology that no longer applies, or that you've purchased and it's sitting in a drawer somewhere not being used. So for us, really, the whole idea is when folks want to go down a path of digital transformation or getting technology involved in the manufacturing business, don't start with the technology. Start with the business, the objectives and the processes, and find the right technology that supports your ultimate goals.
We're going to continue this partnership conversation here in a second, but first we're going to jump to a sponsored break. We will be right back.
Welcome to the World According to. Join me, Peter Eelman, and Travis Egan of AMT while we travel across the U.S. and talk with leaders of the manufacturing technology industry. Meet these renowned visionaries in personal, up-close settings. Hear how their passion for manufacturing took root and has continued to fuel the ideas that shape our industry today and tomorrow. Watch now and hear how these leaders answer the question, The World According to, only on IMTS Plus.
Hey, we're back with SYSPRO and RFK Racing. We're going to keep going down this path of partnerships that we've been talking about. And Kevin, I'm going to direct this question to you first. Gavin, you'll get a chance to answer it after this. But what does a technology-forward partnership look like? Define that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you can see, branded on our shirts here is the RFK Tech Alliance. The Tech Alliance is an initiative that at RFK Racing that we put together, and it's really defined by that exact statement, the technology-forward partnerships. For us, what that means, hey, we're a NASCAR team. We have partners all over. That's what makes our ecosystem work. Yet there's a level of partnership that you need to have when you create a tech alliance that goes beyond just the normal exchange that we would do with typical partners.
Sure.
And so for us, partners like SYSPRO, they come on and, they are engaged in our processes. They're engaged in really part of the team, so to speak, to help us get the technology not only in the building, but also in the building and working. And, the technology that we try to acquire to do these things, in the end, what's most important for us is that it helps make our cars faster on Sunday. And whether that's an ERP that handles a whole bunch of different stuff, in our business, to other machines like you see out on the shop or on the IMTS floor here, these partnerships in the end are all focused on making us more competitive on Sunday and quite frankly winning trophies and championships.
You need to make a T-shirt that says that, right? Technology, like in big bold letters, makes our cars faster on Sunday. I feel like that's a good slogan there.
That's right.
That was a great answer. Gavin, what would you add to that?
As we look at technology into the future and we see how fast it's going right now, you often hear people talk about innovation. Let's innovate. From my perspective, when we look at technology and what it looks like for future, and in the future, yes, innovation is important, but it's more about invention. How do we actually take technology? How do we invent from that, or how do we invent technology that actually helps us deliver bigger, better, faster product, so to speak, right? And so, what a lot of people think is technology is all about ones and zeros, bits and bytes. But that's not really the case. When it comes to technology, it's more part of an ecosystem that actually is a living organism, right, in any business. And so when you think about future technology and what that holds it's not about what's cool today. It's about what's going to be cool tomorrow and what can I use in the future to invent.
How do you enable your clients to take advantage of the current technology while thinking about what's coming next?
We actually find that a lot of clients look at, your normal business, normal business. It's a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan, right? But when we look at technology, it should be more like a 1 month, 2 month, 6 month plan, right? And so what we always try and do is find those technologies or those infrastructures that can support and grow into the future. The cloud is one perfect example. If you go back just a couple years, space was expensive on machines. Today you can buy storage for next to nothing, right? So at the end of the day is instead of us worrying about those bricks and walls and things that are stopping us from moving forward today, you remove that in your thinking, and that now creates invention, right? And so for me, it's how do we actually help our customers think like they're inventors rather than they're innovators in a lot of the things that I try and push through with our clients.
So I've got a couple questions around both technology, automation, robotics, and bringing that together with the human side. We're going to get to those right when we get back from this sponsored break.
Everybody in the 313, put your manufacturing hands up and follow me, because we're going to season 3 of Road Tripping with Steve. This is awesome. I've never been in an automotive facility like this. Hello? Hi, this is Road Tripping with Steve. I need to leave and go let my head cool down. The Robo Drill is seriously one of my favorite machines.
Brand new program, call it whatever you want.
Steve's program.
All right.
Can you take it past 100%? Do it again.
All right, we are back for the final segment of our interview with SYSPRO and RFK Racing. We've got a fun topic to kick this one off. So we are in the Industry 4.0 era, as you might say. Some might say we're moving to Industry 5.0 as well. So, Kevin, if you could define what Industry 5.0 is and tell us a little bit about this transition, I think that would be a great way to start this off.
Yeah, so Industry 5.0, first and foremost, I'm admittedly not a fan of the jargon of 4.0, 5.0 that gets used in a whole lot of different contexts, and depending on who you talk to, it might have different meanings. But as we think about Industry 5.0 and really where is the future of manufacturing and industry going, there's a lot of talk about the new technologies of machine learning and artificial intelligence, and what's that going to do to disrupt the workforce, and I am a firm believer that those tools are really here to augment the worker. It's not here to replace. As we think about robotics, another good example where you can take a glass half full or half empty approach on that, and quite frankly, I am all about the augmentation of the human in the industry space. We're here to give better tools to the workers so that the workers can be more effective, more efficient, and do more stuff. If you look around the world, America has a very strong influence on manufacturing, but we've got the rest of the world's trying to catch up to us. And the only way that we can fight that off is to leverage the millions of good manufacturing employees in America and give them better tools than the rest of the world, and let's see what happens. So it's an interesting time to be alive and to watch all this kind of happen, and in a small, somewhat insignificant role, I'm happy to be a part of it.
I'll have a follow-up question on this, but first, Gavin, let's get your take.
Imagine what it felt like way back when you saw the first mechanical looms, right? That was the first real automation that we saw in manufacturing, right? And so fast forward to today, and you look at, everybody talks Industry 4.0, and it's all about automation. How do we get things done faster, better, without human intervention? But what Industry 4.0 left out was the human aspect, right? And so when you actually combine technology and you combine people, you end up with what would end up being the fifth revolution, industrial revolution. And so Industry 5.0 is really that one thing where we as people can actually start looking and doing the things that people are meant to do, right? Serve our communities, and we let technology what it does best, and that is to do those mundane tasks, those things that enable us as people to actually do our things better. So, this is not a time for fear. This is not a time for worry. This is actually a time for excitement to say, how can we continue to take the human essence and grow that in a world where technology says, you know what, it's all about bits and bytes, let people do less. What we don't want to end up is like, what was it, that one TV show where every robot does everything and people sit on the couch and we all get fat and lazy, right? That's not what it's about. It's about how do we take people and we get them to the point where they can adopt technology and at the same time create things that actually drive industry and drive business. So it's not about the automation or it's not about the robots. You make it about people, and then the rest fall in line.
It's funny because that was actually going to be my follow-up question around, we talk about AI and all of these technologies impacting people, but you were just talking about people impacting those technologies.
Yes.
Kevin, what would you add to that as we close out this conversation around, hey, how are people impacting the technologies more so than the other way around?
Yeah. I mean, without people, you don't have the technology. In the end, the technology doesn't invent itself; the people do. So it starts there. The people are the ones pushing the edges of technology further and further into the future. When you get it at the point of the worker on the shop floor, they are pushing technology as well. That's the thing that I think sometimes gets lost is the needs that arise on the shop floor really is what kicks off and spurs all this innovation that takes place. So it's a really critical element for the shop floor worker to jump in there and be communicative about their problems and how technology can help solve them, and then let folks who work in that space go do that. We in racing, we have this saying, and it ties back maybe to the start of our conversation here, where we talked about winning races on Sunday with technology.
Yeah.
In the end, we actually have a saying that says we win races with our people.
Yeah.
And so what happens is we win races with our people through technology. That's the real locking thing of it all.
We're not literally going to drop the mics, but that's a good mic drop moment to wrap our conversation on. So Gavin, Kevin, thanks so much for being a part of this conversation. Everyone out there, we got more interviews coming up. We've just been talking with RFK Racing and SYSPRO. We'll see you back here with more interviews very soon.